Okay. So now let's go to our web load. So we'll be discussing a new concept now. Okay. Um, So if you observe here, what we are sending here, we're sending the username and password, right? Okay. So if I want to run the with 50,000 users, so first option is if I give a 50,000 thread group a run, what happens? All 50,000 users will do same log username and same password. Correct? All will do same username and same password. Right? So that is a real use case.
No, I want to 50 type of 50 different users.
Right? 50 different users. That is applicable if you can do like this way, but if your application architect is allowing it. I mean, every time they think like there's a new kind of user, then it's okay. But sometimes, right, some application, whatever, if the same user keep on logging, they will implement more cache. Understood? They implement more cache. In that case, your performance won't work much. I mean, the application won't work much. So in that, what I have to do, we have to send different username and password. So if there's 50,000, so can I come here? Can I write every username, every password? No, right? That's where we'll be using a CSV file. That's the first use case. First use case is whenever you want to correlate more username and password. Second option is if there is some common APIs, right? Some like data, and you want to pass the data from some file, right? Let's go to our REST API. If you see here, right, there is a employee by one is there. So I want to pass two here. I want to pass three. I want some 100 employee IDs. So whenever you want to pass the dynamic data to your JMeter script, it's not like username password. Anywhere, like file names or data names, anywhere, whenever you want to direct from request side, whenever you want to send a dynamic data, it's not like for username and password. Any dynamic data, if you want to pass to your JMeter script and you want to do that dynamically, for every user you want to do different value instead of hard coding the values, right? In that case, we will be using CSV, CSV dataset config. Okay, so the name itself, right? CSV dataset config. So it will be available in the. Let's go to here in the for this. Let's zoom this one. Okay, here now that we call parameterization also. Parameter is nothing but passing the values from file to JMeter script dynamically. Okay, so let's go to a thread group. Right click, add config element, CSV dataset config. So what is the position of what is the order of config data element? It will execute first, it will execute between, it will execute last. What is the
First,
position of config element?
first I think.
Others?
First.
Hmm? Others? What is the position?
Yeah, first, I think.
First, right? So
Yeah.
the first, the one wherever you the script, wherever you keep this config elements part, they will execute always first. Okay. So now in this CSV will execute always first. Okay. So this CSV will help us to read the files from a CSV.text. .text.csv, you can give the inputs here. So to give the inputs, let's prepare first user data. Right? So, okay. So again, if it is username and password, either you should ask a developer, says that I'm doing a load test, I need a data. Second thing is, if it is a DB access, you can take the username and password from DB. Third option is, if they are not allowing and there is no, I mean, there is no like much data in the DB also, right? Let's say only 20 or 30 are there, but you are doing 1,000. So in that case, what you have to regenerate your data for our load testing. So how will generate? You will have a register API, right? In the register API, put a JMeter, what will happen if you run for 1,000? We are hitting 1,000 register APIs with data means it will get 1,000 username password, right? Getting my point? So let's go to our upload. Okay, let's go to our upload only. So I don't have any data. Developer asks us to generate on our own. So what we do? Let's say we have register is there now. So if I give all the paths that happens, what will happen? It will create a data, right? So now I'll put this in my JMeter script. I'll run for 1,000 times. I'll prepare all the data in my CSV file, right? Email, phone, password, and I'll pass that to register API and I'll run. Look at 1,000 user and password. So same data can use for login.
JMeter creates duplicate multiple data.
We'll be hitting the registration API, right? With different data. Suppose I want 1,000 user data, I don't have, what will do? In the JMeter, I can do load test, right? I can repeat same request for 1,000 users.
Okay.
Correct. So let's see. Let's say suppose if I give here some dummy data of gmail.com. Okay, 111. Sorry. Right? In 5 years, right? 6 years. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I click on submit. As an occupied, that's okay. But if you check here, this is my payload. Correct? Right? And what is my API here? This is my API. And if there a post method. So can I configure these things in JMeter? Correct? It's REST API only, no?
Yes.
Yeah, simple, right? We have payload, we have API. So what do you do for payload? Sorry. Where's this gone? Mhm. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll put all this data in my CSV file, right? So I can pass 1,000 user data now. I can create a CSV, right? The dummy data. Like username 1, username 2, username 3, username 4, like that. I can create 1,000 data and I can hardcode password there, same password, right? For such data, what we'll do? We'll do correlation. Correct? Yeah. Can I run the if I run the register API, can I run the output? Can I will get the data, no? So, I mean, if it's a proper criteria, if it's not accurate, we'll get the data. Suppose if you see here, see, I have created like this only. Ravi T2, Ravi T3, test 01, test M1, like this. If developer not providing the user data, you have to create this your data. Okay. So now you have the username and password data. So what do you do? Let's go to CSV file. Okay. So to use CSV in JMeter, you have to define headers as a to understandable to name. Okay. Let's put a username and password. Okay. So let me check what is username. Okay. Ravi T1. Okay. Username Ravi T1. Okay. Ravi T2. Let's say I have like this, some users. Okay, till 9. Right. What is the password I given there? So how to check this password? What is the way to check this password now? I want to see what I have given here.
Settings, it will show.
Other way? Any other way?
In network also we can check.
In the network. Okay, any other way? So we can check in the settings because it's already saved. Or if you click on login, right, I can check in the network tab. So one more way is, let's do right click, inspect. Okay, what is type here? Input password is there, now. If just change it to text. Sorry, it's not name. Okay, no, let me do it again. Type we have to change. Okay, input name is text, na? No, let me close this and reopen. Inspect. I mean, this is like normal. Sorry. Inspect. Okay, we have type password is there, right? Just remove this type text. Enter. So you got the password here. Okay, same thing. So it means whatever the username is giving, I'm giving the same passwords. Okay. Okay. So first you have to prepare a CSV file. And if you see this first line we call header. What is header? To know what is this column represents. if you have one or two columns, right, even though without header also, that it's okay, easy to, but you have some like very big data, some 5 or 6 columns are there. So to easy to identify the columns, you have to use header. Or if you're passing the CSV to some of your team members, right? So you know what are the columns for it, but your team member might not be knowing that without header. So this will be called header, the first line. Okay, this is username and this is a password. Now save this file in a .csv. Is Excel is there, right? Now change it to .csv. Okay, not this CSV, this CSV, comma delimited separated, comma separated values. Okay, just click on the CSV and check in. I will be showing in our folders. Browse. Okay, what I will do, users dot CSV, and we'll change the type here, comma separated CSV, right? Let's save. Okay, ask save as again click user save. Yes. Okay, and let me close it and reopen again to confirm whether it's really saved or not. Is it user CSV? Where is that user CSV?
I think all files not there.
Mm-hmm.
CSV.
It's there here only, no? Why I'm not
I
showing
think
that?
it's hiding maybe.
No, it's in desktop.
System. No. The location if you see here.
Just click on save as. Save as.
It's in desktop only. It won't be.
Okay, it's there. Let me save again. Yes. It is there. Okay. The .csv. Right? So we have to save the first CSV. So whatever the data, right, or register API, whatever you do, you have to create a CSV. That extension is very important because JMeter don't know the extensions. Okay.
A header name should be the application names, or we can keep anything.
Any name. Any
Okay.
name. You can UAP, U1, whatever you able to understand, you can give anything.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now once you create CSV, let's go to our JMeter. Okay. We had CSV data set configured. Let me keep in a here, so to easily use. Okay, now first option, file name, right? So simply click on the browse. Okay, wherever you kept the CSV, right, just open the path and to give the path. Okay, you have given the file name. Okay, now ignore the file encoding. Now variable names. So now these variable names will help us to mapping your column, what are the columns we'll give here, and what are the columns we'll be using in JMeter inside it. Okay, suppose if I give A comma B, means A represents first column. What are the first column I give you, right? That's A. I mean, inside JMeter, if I want to use this value, I need to use A column there. If I give, it has given B here, so B represents this column. Okay, so but save said, so I will give username and password, so he's understanding. You understood, right? Mapping variables, nothing but whatever in the CSV now, it will map it to this username. And if you use dollar,
comma separated.
Comma separated. If I have 4 columns, I'll giving 4 names here. So
With
that each
comma.
column represents each mapping. If I have 10 columns in my CSV, I'll be giving 10 columns there. Okay. Now, next option, ignore first line. Because if JMeter thinks this is also data, right? What will happen? The particular user will fail, right, with this data. Because that username and password, this is headers.
Okay,
So in that case, you can put as true. Because you have to ignore first line. Understood, right? Because we don't, it's a headers. I am using these headers to know what the column is used for. It's not a data. So that's why you have to ignore true. Okay. And default keep as it is as of now. Right. So now how to use this data to in JMeter? So whatever the user and password you're giving the variable mapping, right? So come to your JMeter script, wherever you're using. So simply replace first column with the username you are defined. So simply username. And for second column, what I have given there? What is I given there? I given password. So I will come to here. I will give the password. This is called parameterization. Okay, using CSV. So what is happening when I run with first one user? So what CSV will do? It will load the first row in these names. You can give any name here. It's not like that I should be giving same names from header or not. Okay, you can give any name there. So it will map. So when I run with first user, the first two rows, the first row will be loaded to this username and password. So wherever using dollar curly brace of username, dollar curly brace password, it will pass in there. If I run with two users, then second row will be assigned to second user. So once done with first user, second row, this Ravi22, Ravi22 will be there in the here. Till this point clear? Any doubts? Clear, right?
Okay. Okay.
Everyone?
One more thing, Ravi. So
Hmm.
compulsory, we need to give that variable names in the CSV dataset config.
No,
or
no.
directly
We can ignore also. That's where next I'll tell that one only. Yeah, that we can ignore also. Yeah. Okay, it's clear, right? Till this point, simply
Yes.
whatever the parameters given, you'll run. Now let's run with only one user first. Okay, the same script. Okay, which request you pass to 686, right? Let's go to 686 and go to request. Now see, you'll see Ravi T1. Yeah, Ravi T1. Now let's run the same thing with the two users. Let's see whether the second user is passing or not. So to monitor it best, right? I will using this velocity to this 686 so that I can see only data of 686 instead of looking and searching, right? Where it's passing. What is scope of this velocity? What is scope?
That
This
only in that
particular
sense.
request only 686 only, right?
Yes.
Because the scope is it's unset this one. Okay, now if you see here request. So first one, Ravi T1, and go to see here 1-1, right? User, first user. You come to second, you will see what is 1-2. Second user. Go to here and you will see Ravi T2, Ravi T2. Okay. So what happens simply? Whatever the CSV file you given, it loaded and mapped to column to column and it loaded it here. That's the basic scenario, normal smooth flow.
Raviteja, one doubt here. Suppose in my case, username is one API and password is another API. Is the same process or different?
Username is?
Username is one sampler. And password is another sampler.
You simply call, right? Wherever the username is there, it's called $curly username. Where the password is a $curly password.
Okay.
Suppose I have 100 requests, right? 100 requests, I'm passing 100 usernames in each every column. So replace entire username with the $curly username. Wherever username is there, just replace with that. Wherever password is there, just replace with that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, because these are independent of each other. Now, anywhere you can call this in the code, you can call in the functions, anywhere you can do that. Okay.
Just apply the correlation.
Yes, that's it. Okay, right. Now let's come to CSV. Okay, now suppose here I given the head, like if I don't want to give headers here. Okay, let's delete this column. So in that case, how would I know that? Suppose in that case, right, you should not ignore, make it a false.
False.
Okay, so that by default it will take default this as a headers. Suppose if I have given headers here, okay, if I given headers here, so now in that case, now I don't want to give headers here. That's also possible. So then what happens, right? Then what happens? Oh yeah. So in that what happens? This will be your headers. I mean, this will be your data.
Username and password.
Suppose let's give here A. Let's give B here. So then you have to use curly braces of A, curly braces of B. If you're not defining here. Understood, right? Now we have to let's run the program with A, B, right? Now let's see. Either we can do, we can define there, we cannot define. Whatever the options you can pick up, it can do that. So you got Ravi T1 and Ravi T2. What we do, we simply not define the header. So what happens by default? This mapping will be applicable. Whatever the header mapping is there, that will be applicable. But to avoid confusion, it's always advisable to give the data here only. Okay? That's the easiest way and normal way. If you want, you can ignore and you can pass it from there also.
Need to put true in that.
And then I put it true. We don't have to ignore, right? Okay. Now, let's say it's not like every time you use single strings, right? Suppose I'm using address field, right? And I'm using some application like that. I need to pass some text. Okay. So what do you do? So let's put address. So what I thought, okay, address also will work. So I given here one flat number 1, comma, road number 1, comma, city name. You are given like this. You saved it. So now we are expecting if run it now, this complete, if I use $of address wherever it is, what do you expect? You expect enter this into one single row, right? In one single variable, correct? That's what we expect, no? Address. If I save it, if you save it and run, if I use $curly brace of address, suppose let's say in this request only, I'm using here $curly braces. Okay, address I need to define mapping here, right? So without mapping, it won't work. Okay. We should define mapping here, let's say address. Okay, now I'm using here that as a $. So now whatever in the Excel sheet that will come to here or not in the runtime. It's a name, right?
Yes.
So if I run the thing, the address will be populated in this name or not?
Not public.
Okay, others. If I run the script in the output, can I see the as this variable name or can I see the value from the CSV?
Value from CSV.
Okay, Tejshri.
No, we cannot see.
Okay, Nirila.
Not sure.
Okay, let's run and check. See, we saw it. Because wherever you use it, right, it don't matter whether you execute in the request, execute it wherever it is. See. Wherever you define, if the address has the value, then it will display there. See, flat number 1. And let's go to other request. You will see one more 666, right? Okay. So if you see other 6666, the other one, there is no data. Why? Because from Excel sheet, how many rows we have?
Only one row.
Only one, right? That's why it's populated only one. Second is there's no data. So wherever you use throughout JMeter, not require script. Anywhere, whenever you use $curly brace in address, if you run it, it will populate. It's not like that only in the request place it won't. It's not like that way. Okay. But now if you observe, I given full data, right? Flat number 1, road number, city name, but it only populated flat number 1. And why? Because if you see it's a comma separated. What happens means when the runtime, these two fields will go to here and here. Suppose assume that I have some D row and D and E column. There are some values also, right? But in the runtime, this D and E will be overlapped with road number 1 and city name. Understood? It's comma separated. What comma separated? Always it will separate your value data into comma wise. Understood, right? So now this one will be split into the 3 things. So let's suppose now I don't have D and E, right? Okay, but if I use D and E, so let's say not a different mapping, right? First, okay, let's use comma D comma E columns. Okay, and I use $D here, and for next request, use $E. Okay, now if you run the script, see, I got road number 1 and city name. Do you think D and E are empty, right? But how come road number 1, city name we got it? Because it's a comma separated. This road number will come to here, and the city name will go to here. If you think there is already some values here, those will be overwritten of this one. So your entire script, your CSV is now kind of failures. Then, but you need to pass address. How to do that? In that cases, we have to use double quotes. If you use double quotes, then it won't be split into other things. Okay, but Jmin doesn't know, right? How to pass it. In that case, we have use allow quoted data. So make it a true. And if you run the script now, it will pass as it is. See, we got entire, it's a name, we got entire thing here. Okay, so whenever you have a big value or with comma values, so in that case, you have to use the allow quoted data true.
By default, false are those things.
Now, by default, it will be false.
Okay.
So if you want double quotes here, then you say put a true and you use it. Okay, it's clear, right? So if you are not using that thing, you can ignore. You can put like single values. Okay, now, so let's say I have given some 10 users, right? Okay, so I will remove all these things. You understood, right? So you can use anywhere in these names. It's not like that I can use only particular. So wherever your requirement is there, wherever the value is getting passed, you can use it. Okay, let me remove these things. Right now, so let's say I have 10 users, but how many data I have? Sorry, okay,
9.
let me, yeah, 9 is there. Okay, let me put 2 here. So how many data I have? I have 9 records, right? 9 users, no, it's 10 means 9 users, correct? So now if I run with 2, what will happen? It will take only 2 user data. That too by default mostly sequential only, 1 and 2. That's a normal use case, correct? There is no issue because you have access data and you want to use only 2. Right? But now you have 30, but you have only 9. In this case, what will happen?
Is taking repeat duplicates.
Okay. Others? I have given 30 in the third group and I have only 9 data here. So what is the options? How it will take the data? Come on, just guess.
I think it will repeat the data.
It will repeat, okay. Others?
It will not repeat. How will it know?
Okay. Tejasvi?
Yeah, it will not, it will give blank.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, your all options are correct. That's where you can configure those options here. If you want to do repetition, you can do repetition. If you don't want repeat, you can avoid. If you want blank, you can pass blank. Okay. That's where these 2 options will come. Recycle on UIF, stop thread on UIF. What is UIF? End of the file.
Right.
End of the file. It means whenever data reach to end of the file, and when now more number of users, what you have to do? You want to repeat, or you want to stop, or you want to pass blank. It's clear, right? See, just a mouse over it, you will see, should be file reread from the starting on reaching UIF? What is asking?
True.
Says, should be the file reading from starting reaching UIF. Means what is true, it will repeat it. False, it won't repeat. Okay, now see, what is recycle? Recycle is repeating.
Repeating.
So if it's true means I'm saying that, okay, whenever there is a more number of users and less data in CSV, just repeat it for other users. Now, same way, next option is stop thread on UIF. Stop thread, nothing but stop thread. Stop thread, what it will do? It will stop the script. Stop nothing but if I make it true, it means once you reach the end of the file, it will stop the thread and it will stop the entire script. Even though we give 100 users, you only have 9 users, so it will run for only 9 users and to stop your script. But recycle and stop suffers, let's say I given true, right? So recycle, what is recycle means? I want to say repeat. Stop thread means I want to stop stopping the thread. So both are contradictory statements, correct?
Yes.
So in this way, which will work? Recycle or it will stop? Right? That way we have a one logic to understand that thing. Okay, let's say users, okay, records in CSV. Okay, recycle on EYF and stop thread on EYF. Okay, what is the ideal combinations here? If you see true, false only, right? So let's say, let's take the combination one by one. So first I will do with the true. Okay. What else we have combination? True, falses. True, false. False, false.
False, true.
False, true. This is only combination. No, I will get it. So let's check all the combination and observe what will happen. Okay. Now, users is 3. Sorry, users is 30 and records in CSV is 9. So this will have, I mean, this discussion will come only in these cases. But if users is 2 and your data is 9, then it's simple, right? Straight away. There is no discussion on that. Whatever the value you do, it won't matter. Correct? Because you have only 2, it has 9. So it doesn't. But whenever your records in CSV is less, but you want giving more number of users. So then these things will come. Okay. So let's take the output. So whenever this true and true are there, right? The first preference will be on recycle. So the first preference will be given recycle only. So if it's true is true, then it will make as a true only. I mean, it will make as a recycle. It means your recycle only you have true and stopped it in all true. So if you run the script, it won't stop. The priority will be given to recycle, it will recycle it. Okay. So let's see. Let me remove this user data, right? So that we can save. Let's see. So how many data have? How many records?
3.
3 users, right? So let me give 5. So what happens? For 3, it will take 3. For other 2, what you have to do? Okay, let's come to here, run the script. Okay, first one. Okay, sorry. I haven't configured. Now, what is it? True, right? Yeah. Okay, let's say the second user. Let's take third user. Let's take fourth user, first user. Why it is not passing? What I given here? Okay, A and B, no? It's blank. Username, password, right? It's not A and B, correct? Password. We go to CSV. Yeah, username, password. I have to give now. First mapping, second mapping. Okay, now let's run. Okay, we have Ravi T1, first one. This is the first user, correct? Let's go to second user. This is fourth, right? Let's go to second first. Second user, Ravi22. And third user, Ravi2. This is fine. Now let's take a fourth user. And we check here, we got Ravi T1 again. What happens? It again repeated. For first 3, it has taken 3 as it is. For fourth one, again, it will come to here. Fourth one. And fifth user, what is the data? What is fifth user data? 1-5. It will see Ravi T1 only. Huh? Okay. Use 1-5. Yeah. You will see Ravi T2. Fifth user, right? Fifth user, and a request is Ravi T2, Ravi T2. Why, what happens? Because I have given said recycle is true, stop thread and reverse revo. Both are contradictory statement, but the priority is on recycle. Okay, understood, right? Now, let's say, what we have other option? Let's say true and false. Recycle true, stop thread and false. So what will happen? What do you guess?
Recycle.
Recycle only, right? There's no other option because it's also false and it's true. So obviously it will recycle only. So come here and false here means I'm saying that I'm not stopping the thread, and also I'm saying that recycle it. Okay, I'm going to say recycle so that it's a normal use case only, right? Both are like false statements, you will get repetition. Let's check fourth and fifth only, no? Third, fourth one, we'll say Ravi T1, fifth one, Ravi T2. Clear? Okay, now what is the other option we have? False. Now what is saying? Saying then don't repeat and don't stop. Now what will happen? See, if there is a recycle is true, then it will take the data. But here also I'm not saying stopping the thread also, right? I'm saying not stop, don't stop, and don't recycle. So then, see, let's see what happens. If I go to CSV, make it a false, it will send a EOF in the data. Because it has to run. Right? It has to run. There is no data. So what it will do? Let's go to third user, fourth user, right? You see here now EOF is there. Because it has to send a blank data. Because there is no option to repetition, there is option to stop. So that's why JMeter will send a blank data for fourth and fifth. Let's go to fifth user. If you go to fifth user, see blank and data. Understand? EOF. So your script will fail. Right. Now, what is the last option we have? False and true. It means I'm saying not repeat and stop that thread. It's like proper statement only, no? Saying not repeat, stop. Then what will happen? It will send a blank EOF. Okay. So now what will happen?
Stop.
Don't repeat, stop. True. Then it will stop. Let's see. False, true. So earlier case now stop thread is true. At the time recycle is true, so the priority is there. Now there is a false, there is no priority, so it will stop the script. What happens? See? How many times it got executed?
3.
And what are user data?
3
What is your
data.
thread group? 5, right? Even if I give 100,
Only 3
only 3 will execute. Correct? Because whenever it reaches end of the file, if there is no data, it will stop the script. It won't repeat. See? Okay? That's a CSV. Okay? These are the important options in the CSV. It's clear, right? So same way, you can pass TXT also with a comma separated only. In CSV also. CSV text or common files you can use here.
Okay. Just put on the notepad and same the things.
Yes.
Whatever doing, yes.
Okay. It's clear? All right. So today's assignment is, as I mentioned, register, right? So what you have to do? Register, just record the flow. Only register on JMeter, right? And try to do correlation from the CSV with 10 users. Understand? Do the registration regarding JMeter and you'll get register API, correct? In JMeter. Then correlate it for session ID using regular expression extractor. Once run with one user, if it's working properly, means then pass the CSV with some different data and see whether it is able to register or not. Clear, right? How will do recording? Just click on start. We'll go to home page, go to login page, come to register, give the data here, give the valid data. Otherwise, you get error, right? User is already there or not. Okay. So some give valid data so that the register will be success. And replay it, you will get error. You do the correlation, right? You'll run it again for same different data. Let's put suppose you added some name _1, now _2, you should get success. Once you get success, copy the data and CSV and run with 10 users. So you should create 10 users. Everyone, it's clear, right? Assignment. Or if you have any other registration pages, you can do that one also. It's not for only web upload. Why I'm saying web upload? Because it again help in the correlation also. Okay, it's clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm stopping the class. Recording.